Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new episode of WrestleCast. I'm your host, Richard Billy Jr., and tonight I'm joined by Mr. Adam Vale. How's it going, Adam?
It's going. Can't wait to see nothing on Sunday. That's some bullshit.
Hey, well, somebody gonna be watching. I know I'm gonna be watching it because unfortunately I have no choice. But yeah, we're also joined by
Wait, what do you mean you have no choice?
Hey,
It's like I have no someone strapping you to a chair. Like, watch that shit. You're gonna watch some bad wrestling show, sucker.
Oh yeah, there's nothing else to look forward to, for me at the moment, unfortunately. But we'll see. We'll see. We're also joined by Miss Dana Abercrombie. How's it going, Dana?
Help.
Dana? Oh, there you go. Just muted.
She said help.
I said hello.
Oh.
All right, yeah, okay, about to say,
Help. I was like, yo, I got 911 on speed dial. Hold on.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. And we are joined by that's your song, yes. And we are joined by Mr. Ricardo Negron. How's it going, Ricky?
Going good. Good evening, everyone. I thought for a second that Dana was crying for help because of the Pujobi prison.
Yeah.
Everything, which we'll get to in a bit, I'm sure. But I'm repping the SmackDown Live because I'm just hoping for something good, considering the show itself has been kind of on the decline, in my opinion. But yeah.
Did you sell your belt? Because I don't see it in the back.
It's in the closet right now.
Oh,
it's in the closet. I may have addressed this in a previous podcast that even though I'm kind of like, I'm in Stockholm Syndrome status with WWE, that I'm just kind of watching it, even though like it hasn't quite caught my attention as much. It's gotta earn back that spot on there though.
It's gonna be a long time. It's gonna be a long time.
We'll see. SummerSlam is coming up after this, so we'll see if they step up their game. But yeah.
Yeah, let me just say I have no faith that they will, but listen, it's good to be hopeful at least. So we'll see what happens. But we obviously, there's quite a bit of topics to talk about this week, but at the very top of the show, we have to talk about what took place on Raw this past week in the Kurt Angle, Jason Jordan storyline. Because once I saw that, I was like, this is some BS. But I want to go to you first, Ricky, because I know you sent me a text message as soon as you saw this and said that you could not wait till we recorded the next show. So please feel free to tell us your thoughts on what went down.
Spit the fire.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was a thing of like this whole thing was blown out like for what was it, like 2 months that they were teasing this, and it turns out this big reveal is an adopted son angle thing again. And then for it to be Jason Jordan, I did not see that coming at all. And I just remember watching it as it happened, and I'm just shaking my head like, why? I almost would have wished that they would have just pretended that Chad Gable was younger and that he was the son. It would have fit in more narration wise, but yeah, it didn't make much sense to me at all, because I don't understand how this was going to threaten his career. Like he was talking about, like, oh my goodness, this could ruin everything. This could ruin my family. This could ruin my career. All this other stuff. And now it's just like, oh no, it's fine. This is my son, and everything's fine. It's like, I don't know. It reeks of Vince in the worst possible way. This is my much more subdued response compared to when I saw it. It's just like thumbs down. But I mean, we'll see where it goes. I know they want us to care about Jason Jordan, and this is their way of doing it. Not sold, but we'll see.
All right, some good thoughts. Obviously, I'm gonna have Dana and Adam give their thoughts, but let me just say something real quick. I agree with everything that you said. They had all of this thing. Kurt Angle was worried. And when it got closer to Raw and he started sending out tweets, yes, my family accepts it. Everybody is accepting of it. So even WWE is cool with it. Everything is fine. To me, that killed all momentum of this being anything really, really serious. Because I thought they were going to take the angle of he was having an affair, because they had the special where they portrayed him as a family man. He did all this, all this good stuff with his family, So I thought it was going to be an affair storyline, which would have been a little ridiculous. But, yeah, I figured it was going to probably be Dixie Carter involved, or maybe even Stephanie McMahon, because I figured, well, how are they going to get Stephanie and Triple H involved in this? But then we got that. So I was pretty disappointed. Now,
they lied.
Yeah, they did lie. And I will say I'm a fan of Jason Jordan and Chad Gable, but I am very, very disappointed that now that team is pretty much split. Unless, of course, they decide to change it up and send him over to Raw, so on and so forth. But I think that's the biggest issue that I had with all of this, because it feels like every team that was hot in NXT, they have split up since they've come to the main roster. You have Enzo and Cass now going their separate ways, and now you have American Alpha. So I'm very fearful of what they will do to the Revival in the future. Any other team that comes up now, because it's just like I saw that. I was very disappointed with that. But with that said, Adam, what were your thoughts on Kurt Angle and Jason Jordan?
Man, they just straight up lied. How is this going to end your career if this is something that happened before you even got married? You know what I mean? Before you even started working in WWE. And just by him saying that dialogue right there was bullshit. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, this is going to make her, oh, I can't believe this is getting out. What the fuck are you talking about? You're a grown man. This dude's a grown man. This obviously happened way in the past. And you know what I mean? It's like, so that was stupid. And then when it came out, and yeah, like you said, Ricardo, I thought it was going to be Gable. I was like, it sort of makes sense, whole thing. But when I saw that Jason came out, I'm like, yo, who is he friends with? Who is he blackmailing that they're giving him this monster push? This is like, think about it, he just skipped the line right now. He just like, all right, how can we get him up there? Oh, fucking, let's tie him with Angle. Go, folks. And that's it. Because now he is on, think about it, we're talking about him. Who fucking wanted to talk about this dude last week? Nobody. You know what I mean? So he's getting a monster push. Something happened. There's some more behind the scenes shit. He took some pictures of somebody doing they shouldn't be doing. I was like, yo, I got you. Got you by the cojones. Now do something with me. Okay. You're a top guy now. You're made. Because this is bullshit. This whole thing was bullshit. And here's the problem with this is that when you set up a story like this, where you're saying this is this person's son, and they're trying to take it serious with that behind the scenes special and all that shit and getting all emotional. They're not trying to spoof it like a fake wedding or something. They're trying to legitimize this. And the only time I've ever seen something like this happen, and it's still going to this day, is Mysterio and Rey Mysterio Jr. Because Rey Mysterio Jr. is not officially the son of Mysterio. But he was so good and he was trained. So he was like, here, I'm granting you're taking the name, you're going to be Junior. So he has a name. But now this, I'm telling you, it's just a matter of time then that it's going to be Jason Angle. They're going to change his name. They're going to push it. And who knows, if they stick with this years down the road, he's always going to be known as Jason Angle. And when new wrestling fans come in, they're just going to think, that's his kid, right? They're not even going to know. Well, back in 2017, this was some BS storyline, and they just kept going with it. I don't know what else they're going to do with this, because, okay, he's your kid. Now what? Is he going to start doing the angle slam, the ankle lock? What's the deal? What is it? What's going to happen now? We've never really heard him on the mic, so I don't know if he's on par like that. But I don't see where they're going to go with this besides they're pushing him straight to the top. And the fact that they put him on Raw, so it's like, all right, which one thing he could have said, oh, this is my kid, but he's on SmackDown, he's in the American Alpha, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm putting him on Raw. Okay, now what? You're the general manager. Now you're going to probably start putting him in some matches, and if he loses, I'm making this a no DQ match. He's going to do all these other things to help him out. You know what I mean? It's like, where do you go from here with this? You know, and that's my thing. I think it was all bullshit. I think they scrambled. I can't believe this was the original plan. I think it was one of those things where it was like, okay, what can we do to shock people? You know, I can't imagine that this was the original plan the whole time because it's stupid.
I wonder if this is going to be like a heel turn for both of them because it just strikes of nepotism. You know what I mean? Like they're saying, like, oh, in the interview that they had on the network after the show, Jason Jordan's like, no, this isn't a push or anything. It's totally a push.
Yeah,
We're supposed to believe that Kurt Angle is going to be, 100% neutral when it comes to booking matches or whatever with him. We're going to see that that's not the case, and it may just end up becoming a thing where it's like, oh well, let's turn them heel or something. I don't know.
Well, here's a quick question, because I have heard this theory being thrown around a lot. What is the likelihood of this all being some big stunt by Stephanie McMahon and Triple H, where they're having Jason Jordan come in there and say, well, yeah, pretend that you're his son so we can try to, mess around with him. And then later on, this leads to a match between Kurt Angle and Triple H.
it's pointless. It doesn't do anything because no one cares about Jason. Who
Yeah.
gives a shit about the whole thing? That's it. You're making it seem that's implying that we're gonna care if he says, "Guess what? It wasn't your real son." All right, whatever. You know what I mean? No one gives a shit. If that's where they're going with it, it's pointless. It's a waste of time. There's many other ways that they could have done this. How they could have had, Triple H come out, smack Angle in the face. You're washed up. I'll kick your ass at Mania, and that's it. And people be sold on it. Like, yo, he just threw it down. That's it. They're gonna fight. They don't need to come up with some bullshit story about you're my kid, this and that. I pissed and peed in a cup and dip. No, I don't care. I don't. So
Yeah.
that was dumb. It was dumb. It was disappointing too. When I watched that and I heard that, and I wish they would have panned to the crowd so then they could all go like, oh, and like put their head down, and some people like looking at their watch like, oh, we can leave now. All right, because that was bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, oh. What we're waiting for.
Just be like, what? That's it?
Think about it. When he announced that and he said that this, I'm telling you, when they showed the video clip and you could hear in the back, like no one was like, oh, none of that. It was like
that was dead though. They was legit dead.
Yeah, it was like, oh, this wasn't good.
So Dana, what were your thoughts? Because I believe you told me prior to this show that you thought that was the best segment on Raw last week.
Here's the thing why I'm not. Now, it came out that the Chad Gable found out about the storyline a week before they teased the whole I have a secret, oh my God, situation. So he expected that they was going to both come to Raw and, fight for the titles and be a tag team and happy and climb the ladder. And he was completely blindsided by this because it was sprung at last minute. And it came off as a last minute situation. It just didn't make any sense. The problem that I have with this is not necessarily the fact that this is the storyline that they wanted to go with. It was how it was executed. It could have easily been a situation where where Angle Jr. is literally, I'm drawing a blank. That's how bored I am with the story. I can't even remember the guy's name. Jason Jordan could have easily blackmailed him. And it could have been a blackmail situation where his wife didn't know. And then that way you can have the storyline of, the wife and the kids and tie it into the documentary and have the secret of him not knowing, secret of, him being the secret child. Because if you went back, there were some very touchy moments years ago back on SmackDown where Kurt Angle got a little rapey, especially with Sharmell. So you could have easily tied that in, and you could have tied in the fact that he was being blackmailed by him. The family didn't know, and then say, oh no, the WWE shareholders, this doesn't look good because we're trying to change our image of the family man, and you're sitting around with a bunch of bastard black kids. That came out really bad, but it's okay. But anyway, The thing is that it was the execution. It was not necessarily the storyline that bothered me. But because of the way how it was executed, which was very Vince McMahon-ish, that very, corny, sappy, oh my God, I'm going to be in trouble. But at the end, we all love each other Disney moment, that's where it failed. So the problem is, again, they don't know how to execute and structure the storyline. And as Chad Gable said, it was very last moment. Nobody knew anything. So that means that entire time while they was teasing the text messages and teasing with the whole Corey Graves situation, they didn't know what the heck was going on themselves. And I'm more dissatisfied with the fact that Corey Graves wasn't involved heavily, because he seemed more of a standout than Kurt Angle. I wanted to know more about what's Corey Graves' side. Let alone screw Kurt Angle, but what's going on with him? So that's my issue.
Those are some great points. I just have to make this comment since you mentioned Sharmell. I'm mad that they didn't go with that, because I wanted to see the camera pan to Booker T and have him say, "Tell me you didn't just say that." That would have been awesome. That would have been awesome. But unfortunately,
ducky quack quack moment.
Yeah, listen, that would have been awesome, because Booker T, he does tend to go off character. Whenever the commentating, he's not really as good on commentating. He makes a lot of errors, so that would have been interesting. But it is what it is. But I do agree, the execution was the issue. As with WWE now, with pretty much a lot of things. This is a product that should be the top of the line, but it's like they don't really care, because they don't have any competition in their minds. They don't really look at any other, they look like they can't be touched by anybody. So that's unfortunate.
I also think it's just tricky for them. I mean, they have a lot of programming, but they have a lot of live shows that they have to contend with. They have a huge roster, and that's a lot on the writing staff. And they need to really come up with something else, or hire other writers and just put them on specific shows, or do something, because, I mean, it's just too much work. And obviously they're dropping the ball on all kinds of shit, and I get they have to produce a live show, every week, and it's continuous. I mean, that's more draining than any other promotion that's out right now. They don't have, a SmackDown, a Raw, NXT, a 205, a women's championship tournament. They don't have any of that. It's usually one tight-knit roster, and then just go with that. But it's a lot, and we're seeing the cause of that. We're seeing them drop the ball, and the product not living up to its full potential, especially with the amount of talent that they have. We got people just not doing much. What's Finn Balor doing? Nothing.
Yeah, he's doing something. He's doing something.
He's doing a whole lot of thinking about how he could get out of his fucking contract. That's what he's doing. He's like, wow, I made a mistake.
And when he's not doing that, he's getting hit in the head with guitars by Elias Sampson. So, yeah.
And there's another guy, Elias Sampson, the weakest link of NXT, comes up and he gets on the main roster. What the hell is going on? I'm sure a bunch of people at NXT are banging their heads like, why did this happen? Remember, he was losing like every damn match at NXT. And then next poof, you're on the main roster and you're going to get time. You're not like what's his name on SmackDown? What's the
Drifter?
No, the guy on SmackDown, the one that was losing to AJ, and that he's
James Ellsworth.
Yeah, he's not him. You know what I mean? It's like he's got a look and everything, and a gimmick, and they're giving him time. When he comes out there and they turn the lights off and they give him time to sing his little songs, I mean, come on now, giving him moments.
That they promoted these guys because it gives them an opportunity not to do anything as writers, so they can be lazy, because they have these guys who basically are being underutilized and have frankly no talent compared to other wrestlers.
But again, it's just that whole thing, and I know that's a Vince decision. He has a look, and you could see the similarities. He's a big guy. You know what I mean? He's a big guy, and Vince likes his big guys. So he's like, big guy, guitar, come up. That's it. And then and that's it. And it's a smack in the face to everybody else. And that's why I feel sad for people like Roderick Strong and other little guys that are great, because this is like a wake-up call, like, yo, you're never going to make it. You know what I mean? They're going to find a way to bury you. If you do get up top, you'll get 15 minutes. You know, and then the next big thing, literally the big thing that shows up, will take your spot. Whether he can talk on the mic, whether he can wrestle or not, he will take your spot. You know, look at Braun. Braun, there was when he first showed up, same thing. They threw him right on the main roster. Remember, part of the Wyatt. He was greener than green. Nobody wanted to work with that dude. Like, yo, he is gonna hurt people. You know, but to everyone's amazement and ours, he could work. He picked it up quick. You know, I see him like another angle. Like, wow, you just got here and you could over here doing double leg drops and stuff for a big man. You know, and I'm impressed. You know, so he wants, but then again, that's all that the whole drive of like, yeah, I know I can get over with my size and that'll keep me employed, but I want to learn this. You know, I want to keep things going, and maybe they see that in Samson. But I still think it's a smack in the face to all the people that are in NXT that are being told that they have to work on the mic. They got to do this, do that. We see no specials. And then all of a sudden, a big dude with muscles and stuff comes in. Hey, can I do this shit? Damn right you can, boy. Get on the other bus. You're out of here. You go on the main roster, Bill. Like, where's he going? You let him go? No. He's a made man. He just got pinched. He's going up top. You know, and that sucks. It sucks. It makes me wonder about Robbie Roode. When Bobby Roode comes up, you know, it's like, what are they going to do with him? I mean, he looks big compared to these guys in NXT, but he's really not that big.
Hey,
you know, so
I don't know what they're going to do for Roode when he comes up, but all I know is that it will be glorious.
It will be glorious.
Whatever they do, it has to be, because that's the gimmick that he has now. So,
and then that's my other question. I love it. I love the song. A lot of people do, but I don't know if that's going to get over with the masses. I don't know if that'll get over. Are they everyone going to stay shut for 10 minutes? They hear him sing that shit over and over.
You know, what they're going to have to do eventually with Roode when he gets called up is for him to really get that heel heat, he's probably just going to have to come out to silence. No theme music. He's going to just be like, I know you people want to sing along with this. No more of that. You know, and just come out to silence. You know, people will boo the hell out of him for that. But because a lot of why he's over is because people have fun singing along to the entrance.
That song got him over. He's not the only person. Adam Rose was like that. Everybody loved Adam Rose song. They're like, oh, this is awesome. You know, and he came down, and that was it. He was over with that. Huh? Yeah, Fandango. There's another one, Fandango. You know, he got over because of the song. You know, and that's just another element that a lot of people don't think of. That's how somebody can get over. You know, it's either their gimmick is great, or they're great on the mic, or they have a yes chant, like, because that was the whole thing that Vince said. He till this day, he still swears that the only reason why Daniel Bryan got over with the fans was because of the yes thing. He said that the chant was over, not the wrestler. You know, but who knows? You know, I mean, people like what they like, and that's what it really comes down to. It's all about making money, right? So we'll see. But I don't know. That pissed me off when I see Samson up there taking that spot, you know, and getting all that time. So
one thing I wanted to go back on real fast about WWE and not feeling like there's any competition. They probably don't feel like any other wrestling promotion is competition. But I could tell you that Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn and them feel that other shows on cable are competition, and that's why you have ridiculous segments like the Kurt Angle, Jason Jordan thing, because they want to have this thing kind of like that show This Is Us, with the father and son uniting after a long time of not seeing each other, that kind of stuff.
Terrible.
Yeah, they want to, like, people love this shit, so let's put that into our show. But WWE does not know how to execute that kind of stuff at all. But they see them as an entertainment company, so they try to steal ideas from other shows and incorporate it into there. And sometimes it's just too obvious. But they just don't know how to execute it. It's very, we say, like, I don't know if it's like lowbrow entertainment or whatever. It's just garbage. But
yeah, very good point. Excellent point. So, yeah,
should all give thumbs down to this
thumbs
angle.
Thumbs down to not Kurt Angle, but this angle.
The storyline, the gimmick. This whole angle with Kurt Angle is a thumbs down.
Absolutely.
And
Okay,
by the
so-
way, sorry to interrupt, but and we could probably talk about this later, but for anyone that hasn't, I would definitely recommend watching that Kurt Angle WWE 24.
Yeah, it was good. I watched it. It was good.
Yeah, very emotional, you know.
I thought it was one of their best documentaries on the network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's up there. It's definitely up there. So yeah, as you said, a thumbs down to everything that happened with that storyline. So now let's go to the next story, which also gets a thumbs down from me. And this is the rumors that Brock Lesnar is now supposedly entering the testing pool again to try to get back into UFC and MMA in general. So I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on this. I have something to say about this, but I'm going to, of course, let you go first. So
I don't care. I hope he leaves and doesn't come back. I'm over this whole part-time shit. You know what I mean? It's over. At first, it was okay. It's like, all right, I get it. You know, but we've seen it for years. I mean, remember when The Rock had the belt and kept that shit for a year and didn't wrestle until Mania? You know what I mean? And then now we see occasionally, you know, Brock comes and he'll do his little matches here and there. I'm over it. You know, make that belt matter. You know, right now it doesn't matter.
Agree.
You know, so it's pointless. And fine, he wants to go to UFC. Let him go. Don't give a shit. Just don't come back. You know, and I mean, I'm sure it's going to be tricky. I'm sure it's a lot of money, though, because remember, this time around it's different. Before, it was Dana White and the Zuffa brothers. They were the ones working it and putting together this deal. The UFC has been sold to a whole conglomerate of people. So I'm sure they're trying to figure out, all right, we need big stars. We need big money. You know, who can we bring? So now this is going to be a whole other deal that they're going to have to work out. Now, meaning like not just the money, but we know what Vince is going to want if they do this, that cross promotion, like what the UFC was doing before. Oh, we got the WWE champ coming here, Brock Lesnar, former UFC champ. You know, they threw in WWE. They threw in that name. And I remember they even had a commercial air. They had the WWE 2K17 commercial air during his show, his wrestling. You know what I mean? So those are things that was like, all right. So they're going to have to tie those things in. And again, I don't know if, all right, remember what you were talking about with Ronda Rousey and with her losing the way she did, and you think no one's going to care and stuff. And I told you, people still care. But you're playing with fire with this with Brock because you are always advertising him as like this beast. And I mean, I don't wish this on him, but what if he goes out there and gets knocked the fuck out? You know what I mean? Like if he just gets laid out, embarrassing, like first minute type of shit. You know, that's something that could really hurt that gimmick though, because of the way he's portrayed as the beast. The beast who got knocked out in a minute, because remember, Stephanie cracked those jokes on Punk. Remember? We were like, oh, you guys are chanting longer than Punk fought, you know, at UFC. So they're willing to go there. And they have to understand that the fans, this new educated fans with the dirt sheets on the internet now, no longer a 900 number, everybody's seeing this shit, and they will have something to say if that does happen. But like you said, that there's some rumors, I don't know if this is true, that they're going to go and just straight up give him a title shot. Now, if they do that and he wins, what the fuck? He's out. He's done with the WWE. There's no freaking way he's going to be, you know, a co-champ. I think the only person that pulled something like that was Dan the Beast Severn, you know, and I think that was when it was just like tournaments for UFC. It wasn't like a real thing, you know, like a legit, it was just tournaments, but he had won a bunch of them and then he did wrestling and won some belts. But I just can't imagine that. So that means if he does sign, he's dropping that belt at SummerSlam. He's dropping it, you know, and then he's going off to go train and see what happens with that. But
you know, his contract is supposed to end right after WrestleMania 34.
But they said he signed a new 3-year deal or something like that. He didn't re-sign. I thought he signed some extension. That he was happy with this work schedule.
The last I heard is the 34. You know, WrestleMania 34 for sure that's supposed to be when it's supposed to be over with. Again, a lot of the stuff is rumors about him entering the testing. You know, because I know then they actually came out and said that that's not true. He hasn't done that. But again, he could be trying to leverage negotiations.
See, if that's another thing, if we're back to that where this is all bullshit just to get leverage to better his deal, fucking let him go, man. Let him go. They always talk about how no wrestler is bigger than the business. You're proving yourself wrong, and you're contradicting yourself with fucking Brock. You know what? Let him go. For the price you're paying him, you can get 3 other big stars. You know, there's no point. You know, no point at all.
I agree.
You know, what's the point of like building up all these guys to face him just to get squashed by him? You know, there's no point. You're killing yourself. You're killing your own brand. And, you know, you got guys like Cody. I think I told you. I don't know if I told you that, but I was watching Ring of Honor the other day, and, of course, the show is delayed as opposed to live stuff. But Cody came out. He's the Ring of Honor champ, and he said, yeah, I am your full-time non-steroid champ. You know, and now we know it's a smack to the face to WWE and Brock. Because as we all know, WWE openly said that they don't test part-timers for steroids. They don't have to go through the wellness clause. You know, and that's what that whole thing again bring back with the UFC. I'm baffled by it because for those who don't know, right, when he originally went back to go fight Mark Hunt, they were like, all right, you got to take the drug test. Well, I did that with WWE. I did that. They contacted WWE. Hey, did he take a drug? Yeah, we do our drug testing. He's good. Okay, cool. So then he goes and he does his fights. You know, he tests and they were like, all right, well, you didn't have steroids, but you had this cleanser for steroids. So that means you did have steroids at some point. So we're trying to figure out how much time between when you cleaned yourself to when you took the test with WWE. Then he went back to WWE and said, hey, we see these results and stuff? We don't test part-timers. And he's part-time now, so we don't test him. We did, but we don't anymore. So you don't have any paperwork on no fucking shit. So then that means he was probably juicing right from the day that he signed a contract, and then he started using Golden Seal, you know, to clean himself out. You know, and it's some bullshit. It's some bullshit. So it's like, you know, it's going to be the same thing. It's like, all right, how long does it take to cleanse my system this time so that shit doesn't come up in my piss? It's like, well, we're going to need a certain amount of time. All right, then I can do it. You know, but that's an issue, and that's going to continue to be an issue. And then it's a stain on him. It's a stain on him because everyone's always going to say he's juicing. Whether he wins at UFC, you know, or he doesn't, people are going to say he juiced. If he goes in there and he bashes whoever the hell they fucking put in front of him, people are going to say, yo, test him. I bet you he juiced. You know, once you're accused of that shit, it's hard to rub that off. It's hard. You know, the juice is loose. He
really is loose.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard to rub that off. You know, he'll always have to live with that, and that's just the way it is with everything. When something bad happens and you're linked to it, you will always be linked to it. You know, time doesn't pass up, especially if you're still in the sport. We see what fucking baseball players want to eventually getting removed from the Hall of Fame. They put little asterisks next to them with their home runs and shit. You know, it screws with them. So it's like, what's the point? Do people want to see him fight? Because a lot of fans already know what happened with the Mark Hunt and the steroids, because that was all over the MMA blogs. So, and that was also on ESPN. So it's a known thing, you know. And when they see he's coming back, I'm like, whatever. He's just going to juice up and whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't think anybody really wants to see it, you know. So I think it's a waste. But whatever. I just hope he goes, if he does, and doesn't come back.
I agree 100% with everything that you said. I don't want him. I want him gone from WWE. Definitely don't want him to have the belt. So he definitely will lose that title at SummerSlam. I think that is that is a given. I think at this point, because
as long as it's a Joe, I don't want no Roman Reigns. I want Joe.
No, come on, no, man, no.
I want the total package champ. I can work. I can talk. Guy has charisma, and that's it. That's what I want as a champ. I want him to at least have it for 3 years straight, and then from there they could do whatever they want.
There's only one problem. Yes, he has charisma. He has everything that you mentioned, but he's not Roman Reigns. So therefore, it doesn't matter. Vince is gonna be like, hey, this is Reigns' time. You know, he needs to get that belt, and then they will have their match at WrestleMania. Next year, it'll be Reigns defending that title against John Cena. I think that's what the plan is, unless it changes.
No more John Cena. I don't think John Cena even wants the belt because he's got so many other things going on in his life.
Yeah.
I don't see him in that boardroom like, when am I getting the belt again? I don't think so. I don't think he gives a shit.
His days are numbered, so
yeah,
he might have the last hurrah, and that's it.
Yeah, we'll see. But Ricky, what are your thoughts on the Brock Lesnar situation? I'm sure you had something to say.
Yeah, so My UFC hot take is that they are also on the decline. It started to go downhill with the death of Ronda Rousey's UFC career. There's that, and then you have
A lot of the champs gone. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, and then the lady that beat her for the belt backed out of the main event.
He lost another one, and then John Jones with the drugs and shit. He was their other big champ, and so
that. By the way, that storyline will be revisited again next weekend when John Jones doesn't make it to that fight. But continue, Ricky. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I that'll kill me if we don't get Jones against DC. That'll just kill me. But yeah. So we had that. We had the thing with Ronda Rousey, and then the current champ, not catching the recent UFC event. That happens a lot actually, where you get these big, title fights, whatever, and then due to injury or illness, whatever, they have to back at the last second. It's really bad for their business. Turns me off as a viewer. You have now they're so desperate that they have Conor McGregor with Mayweather.
That's going to be a BS match.
A stupid boxing match that I have very little interest in, because they're probably just both going to dance around the ring and collect their money and laugh at every single person that spent $100 to watch it. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. But let's get back to Brock Lesnar as far as UFC rumors go. Lesnar, I was really excited for him to come back to WWE back, 6 years ago, I think, at this point. Very excited about it. I remember him, from before. I thought it's exactly what the company needed, but we don't need any of this part-time crap, especially with him having the belt and not appearing for 3 months or 4 months or however long it's been, and then holding the belt hostage. It's to the point where I'm actually okay with Roman Reigns winning the belt at SummerSlam, as long as it's someone that has the belt every week showing up on television, and it's not just gone for months on end. It's absolutely absurd. I'd rather have someone that's going to be there all the time representing the company rather than Brock Lesnar. I'm done with that act entirely. I was totally fine when Lesnar squashed Cena. What was it, 2015 Survivor Series, or 2006 or 2014? It was one of those.
SummerSlam.
It was 2014.
That was the creation of Suplex City. Remember?
Yeah.
Suplex City, bitch.
Yeah, that SummerSlam 2014, I believe that was, and he pretty much killed Cena, and I loved every second of it, because Cena was the overbearing good guy that would squash the push of a guy like Rusev or Wade Barrett with the Nexus and all that stuff. He would totally kill all that. So I wanted that character to go away. Tired of that.
Yeah.
So I was fine with Lesnar until it turns out that he was just holding this belt and not showing up until Royal Rumble or whatever it was. And it's okay, this is a load of crap. I don't want that again. Universal belt should be on the show every week, should be defended regularly. I don't like to see anyone have that 30-day rule be exempt from that like he is. So if he's actually going to UFC, I say adios, see you later. You've stolen enough money from the company, get lost. That's my take on that.
Yes, excellent. I agree with everything said. Yes, perfect. Dana, you have anything that you would like to add?
Yes, I wish that Brock Lesnar does take that offer, if it is true, and he stays there and he goes far, far away from the WWE. But I view this more as a cross-promotion deal. I view this as, remember Ronda Rousey and how she's making her appearance in the female tournament? I see this as WWE will get Ronda and UFC will get Brock Lesnar. And if you go back in the past, remember, people seem to forget that ECW used to do cross promotions with WWF back in the day.
Sure.
So
But I think
I
she's
see this as
done.
being. She may be done, but I don't see Brock really still interested in WWE aside from just the money. So I can really see him going over there and staying there for a much longer time, maybe 3 years, maybe 4, who knows? But I do see that happening. And if you look, as was previously said, there's a lot of cross promotion things with that Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor fight. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the actual deal.
But I mean, a lot of these are always seen as like gimmick fights, though, because we know Conor's
Well,
not going to stay in boxing, and we know that Brock isn't going to be a full-time, UFC guy. Like, what's his point? And I have a feeling that it's sort of that, like you said, Rich, that rumor that I think the only thing to really entice him to do it would be a title. But even when he wins it, okay, then now you have to defend it, or is he just going to retire with him? Like, yeah, I just wanted to win.
I can see him retiring with it. I think it's all about money. I don't think he does this because it's some type of passion, especially not at his age anymore. I see this as all being monetary. So you give him a couple, here's some 10 million, or who knows, maybe 50 million. I don't know what UFC could pay him. I don't know what WWE can afford, but I see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's good points all across the board. I like you all have already said. I don't really care what happens with Brock. I just want him gone from WWE. I don't think he really brings anything else anymore to the table. Give the belt, and especially if you want to have him as a special attraction, that's fine. But you should not overpay. If he's talking about he's demanding all this money, I just think Vince needs to invest that money in other things outside of that. But definitely get that belt off of him. And yeah, just like Ricky said, I agree. Even Roman Reigns as a champion is better than having Brock Lesnar, who is not there, but has the belt. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But, yeah, and as for Ronda Rousey, we'll see how that storyline, comes together because, those rumors are heating up also. I don't really know what the extent is of what they will do with, as far as that tournament. I did hear a possibility of her having a match next year against Charlotte. But again, we'll see how all of that comes together. Because
they could build that up for Mania, and she could do a few matches. She wants to get into wrestling. She's always been a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
So she wants to do it. And I think that once she starts doing it, she already has the fan bug. So once you're actually doing it, then she's definitely going to have that full-time bug, and that's it. It's going to be her thing. So I could see it, and I think it'll work because she has that intensity. She's comfortable on the mic. You know what I mean? She knows what she's getting into. She understands the biz. She watches it, so she knows how this whole thing works. I think it'll work out for her. I think she'll be very successful. Now the question is, will she hurt people? That's the only question.
No.
Because that happens. No, that happens by accident. A lot of them. It's one thing to go full on live, is what they call it, and then to hold back on it, because she could do a lot of those moves still, a lot of those submission moves and taekwondo and other than was it the other she's a judo she could do all that. That'll fly great, but it's just doing it to the proper way of taking bumps. I think that's it. It'll just take some time to do that transition. But.
Well, I guess we'll see sooner rather than later. We'll see what happens. But let's move on to the next topic. I believe Dana, I'm gonna give you the floor on this one. You had mentioned to me before we started recording that there was an update in the ongoing Del Rio Paige saga. So please feel free to let me know what the update is.
Basically, Alberto was cleared of all charges, so he is a free man. But he's still kind of suspended. But he's been cleared. He's very happy. They said he didn't touch Paige. He didn't beat her. Because remember, there was the allegations of the 6 months Paige was being beaten by Alberto, and the brother had to come in and make a statement about it. So they did the investigation, and basically he's been cleared. Again, I don't know whether or not that could be true in the sense of whether or not he actually did touch Paige within those 6 months period. But according to all legalness, he's clear and he's still suspended and he's still very angry. So
Well,
and Paige is still out there defending him.
yeah.
So, it's still a very toxic and a very sad situation overall.
Well, let me just say this. To quote a very famous person by the name of Kanan on Power, whatever he says he didn't do, he probably did that shit. But you know, I'll just say this. I'm glad that you know, I guess it's good that he got cleared or whatever. I know Paige is the one that's in a lot of trouble now because I know that they may charge her with that, and if she does get charged, that's going to cause issues with her contract. So I think all along she's been wanting to try to get out of the WWE contract. I'm still confused as to why WWE still has her under contract with all of the stuff that has happened with her throughout this year, ever since she's been gone away from the company. Now, I know they can't really get rid of her because it would look bad, you know, because of the whole sex tape stuff. But I just don't understand what's going on with that situation. But you know, this storyline is not over, and the fact that the family did come out and they was pointing out the fact that Del Rio is abusive, you know, that to me says a lot right there. So for this particular incident, yes, he was cleared, but all the other stuff, no one knows about all the other stuff besides just Paige and Del Rio. And if the family knows, yeah, to the extent they would know a little bit of information if they've seen her with bruises, so on and so forth. But the situation is a mess.
Remember.
Go ahead.
Remember, there's the movie.
Oh, yeah, the movie.
So, the movie, and also the fact that WWE still looks like the good guy. When this wrestler, despite everything that she's been going through, we're still there for her, and you know the door is still always open. If she agrees to go in for counseling and drug, you know, help and addiction, and any type of services that she needs, that's a way to promote and help their business, and to really help people to forget about that whole drug situation and, you know, Benoit movement. So at the end of the day, they still end up looking like the good guys.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you make a good point there. We'll see. So Ricky and Adam, did you have anything you wanted to say on this update?
Oh man, that's their own personal bullshit drama. Who cares? I mean, he's done. You know what I mean? If it's true with this coke problem and all that, he's already sinking his own ship. So it doesn't even matter with the cops. And of course, you know, the brother and all that. Oh, no one's going to say it because the guy's making money, ruining his livelihood. You know, I mean, we see it with other people that are celebrities. You know, it's just everybody covers for it because everybody has something to gain from it. You know, so it doesn't matter. We'll see it sink itself, and we'll see whatever happens with her, and hopefully it's not bad. And I don't see her coming back in WWE, at least not until she's in her 40s or 50s, you know, and people will grow out of it and forget about all the crazy shit. But, you know, but just let it go. I heard the other rumors that her family took the belt off of him, that he was the champ at their promotion, and he took the belt off.
I heard that too, yeah.
You know, so obviously they're trying to cut their ties from him regardless. You know, they're just tired of it. I mean, maybe he's pulling an R. Kelly on her. We don't know. You know, that's it. We don't know if she can't call mom and dad and stuff. We don't know. Like, who are you talking to? I mean, wasn't the whole beef of this was that her uncle was sick and she needed to go back home to be with him, and he flipped out about it? I mean, right there sounds very controlling. Like, no, you belong to me. This is prison style. I take my pocket, I hang it out. You hold on to that shit. And that's how this works. You know, so. I don't know. It's sad, but that's their own shit.
You're right. Yeah. How about you, Ricky? Anything else to add?
Yeah, well, Del Rio's trash. I've been saying that since day one. And I don't like that. I definitely don't like these developments as far as that relationship goes. That needs to end. I think that relationship needs to end before it ends poorly for both people involved. Yeah, just really, just not cool. And also, yeah, Del Rio need to get off the damn drugs already. With all him challenging like Triple H and stuff to a fight and all that stuff. He's completely lost his mind. And it's dangerous for Paige to be around that. But who knows? I mean, I think it's a shame because just like a year ago, Paige was one of the most popular women on the roster, and now she's a complete non-entity there, and it's sad. So,
it's as if she was never there.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty much like a persona non grata situation, it seems. So it sucks, but that's how it is. Hopefully things look up for Paige. Del Rio gives a shit. That's just my take on it. But I will say this for the Owl Network or whatever, TNA, Impact, Global Force, whatever the hell they call themselves. This is what you guys get for bringing that guy in to be as your champion. That's what you get.
That's true. That's right. I agree. Oh well, we wish them well. We wish Paige well, and we hope that Del Rio gets the help that he deserves, that he needs to get. But
I agree on that.
We'll see what happens. But we got one other topic to move on to before we get into our predictions, because I know, like I said, Adam can't wait to get to the predictions because he's looking forward to this pay-per-view. So,
oh my God.
Yeah. So just a very quick story on the incident that happened with Shane McMahon a couple of days ago. Dana, perhaps you know more on this particular topic.
That was crazy.
Yeah, New York.
Oh, New York. Oh, yeah, because it happened in New York.
I was personally affected by this. I was sitting at home watching television, extremely upset because they interrupted the breaking news. And they didn't say Shane at first. They just said it was a helicopter crash, and it was a pilot and another passenger, and they crashed into the river, and that the police and everybody was on the scene. And I didn't really think of anything about it, and I was just aggravated that they interrupted my show. But then later on, I kept watching, and they found that it was Shane McMahon. So it was basically, screw the pilot. We have Shane McMahon here. He's alive. And it was a very...
Who is he with?
Shane looked very good.
He was with someone else. There was someone there.
Pilot.
It was just him and the pilot?
Yeah.
All right.
It was a small personal plane.
They were going to the Hamptons or something.
Yeah, they were. And he was alive, and he was rescued by surfers. It was like right by the beach. I forgot which beach it was. And he was rescued by... Huh?
They said this was the first time that technology, that airbag type technology for helicopters was actually put in use. Like they have actually seen it, not out of simulations and stuff, but we've heard of helicopters crash before and they didn't have this, but now it crashed and it had that thing to deploy so that way it wouldn't sink. And that was a big deal. That's what they kept talking about. At least that's what I can hear.
You saw it in the pictures of basically it looked like a big airbag.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It worked, and Shane was clearly unharmed. And he gave his press conference, basically thanking everyone. He personally shook the hands of all the lifeguards that came to his rescue. And it was a very nice moment, but it interrupted my show. And I was
surfers are going to be front row at the next SmackDown Live, right? They got tickets, and
basically. So all the memes came out with him, about to jump from the helicopter.
And it was like, whoa! He would have landed.
Yeah. So it was great though.
Oh man, there's a story. Now here's my thing with that though. When I heard that, like, what if it had a tragic outcome? Would the show still go on? You know how Vince always says the show has to go on. Well, what if this is your family?
Going on and pausing. Pay-per-view.
I don't see. Oh, we're gonna do 10 bells and let's just keep going. I don't see that.
Well, no. I think it'll be more like a dedication show. Remember when Benoit?
Yeah, like a Benoit thing.
The Poppy guy, Eddie Guerrero. So I see that happening. like the
Well,
dedication show. And then
Well, I'm glad it didn't happen. So
yeah, I'm glad it didn't happen either. 'Cause
Yeah.
I like Shane. Definitely don't want to see nothing bad happen to anybody. Yeah, that's that is because I know it did happen in New York. So I didn't know that all that happened. So that's a good little story where you got interrupted on the news. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
hope it wasn't like reruns of Charmed or something.
No.
Yeah.
No, it was early
I
when it
am
happened.
the sun.
It was like around 11 or so. So it interrupted at around 11 o'clock in the morning. And we didn't find out it was Shane until around noon when he held the press conference. And the funny part was he kept introducing himself. And you know how you wait for someone to say, "Oh my God, I know who you are"? No one said anything. So it was like this weird, awkward silence of, "Yes, I'm Shane McMahon." And reporters are like, "Well, can you spell it?"
Yeah.
So that was
You got to be kidding me. They asked, "Can you spell it?"
Yeah, they was like, "Can you spell it?" And,
Why the hell did they even? Why did they even have that job to ask that question?
Not everyone watches wrestling.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I don't. When it was reported where I live out here in the Midwest, they talked about it, but they said, Vince McMahon, the COO of WWE, they weren't saying so much about him being like part of it. Really, they were just like, oh, his son, Vince McMahon's son, and then Linda McMahon, who's part of the Trump's cabinet. He was in a plane crash. So I guess they don't really follow and don't care that he's like an entertainer.
Later on, like around 5 o'clock, then they implied that it was, he works in the WWE, and they kept showing him jumping off the cage, and it was like, oh, well, he's used to falling from great heights.
Well, all they had to do is type in Shane McMahon on YouTube, and that's like the first video that comes up of him jumping off that damn cell.
Yep.
So
That's funny.
Still think it was crazier the time that he jumped off the Titantron to elbow drop Big Show. That was a crazy high.
he was jumping off of everything at one point. It's like he was climbing shit and stuff.
But, well, yeah, it's like this helicopter thing might not be the craziest thing that's happened to him.
Yeah.
With all the stuff that's happened.
He's also not the first wrestler to survive a plane crash. Ric Flair survived the plane crash. So that was I think some people died in that plane too. He was like one of the few to walk away from it.
It's crazy. No, I'm definitely glad that he survived. And just a good story to hear. I know a lot of tragic stuff that's happened to people these days. So glad that he was fine with that whole situation. But any final thoughts on this topic before we move on to the predictions?
Nope.
All right, so here we go. Adam and Dana's most anticipated pay-per-view of 2017, WWE Battlegrounds.
Presented by SmackDown Live.
There you go, SmackDown Live, the show that had such great promise, and now it's, Vince has messed it up. So we'll see what happens.
We watched that show get SmackDown Live when they stripped all the damn talent off of it. Take that, suckers.
That's right, the B show. That's what Vince wants to make it the B show. Keep it the B show. So let's start off with the pre-show match, which is Ty Dillinger versus Aiden English. I'll go ahead and give my thought real quick. I say that Aiden English is probably going to win this match, because I feel as though they don't know what to do with Ty Dillinger. He's already had a match against this guy on multiple times. And from what I recall, he won those other matches now. I don't really know, I might be off. Maybe he lost one of them. I'm not 100% certain, but I do recall one match I did see him have against this guy. He won. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Aiden English may go ahead and win this time because, again, the 50-50 booking is still there. And they also had Ty Dillinger lose in that tournament that they had a couple of weeks ago for the U.S. title. So I say unfortunately, Ty Dillinger loses, Aiden English wins. How about you guys?
Ty sucks. I never liked him. He's been there for almost 11, 12 years or some ridiculous amount of time. It's, he's a regular guy. Something about him just rubs me the wrong way. I just don't like him. I'm not into the whole 10 gimmick. I don't get that. And I just don't see it. So I could care less. And there's a reason why it's a pre-show, pre-match show. Aiden English, he's got talent. He can wrestle. He can talk. He can sing. He's married into the biz. He's married to Eddie Guerrero's daughter. So I mean, they can do a lot with him. And I think he shows more promise than Ty Dillinger does. So I see Aiden going up. He wins.
Because you said that, I'm gonna add a quick line in here. Now that you say yes, he does sing, so I'm waiting for him to team up with the Drifter. Then they have a guy that plays the guitar and a guy that sings. So yeah, there you go.
There you go. Yep.
So how about you, Ricky? Who do you have in that match?
Well, we gotta hire you on creative because that's actually a pretty good pairing there. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna agree with you guys and say Aiden English. I think it's pretty fascinating that Mr. 10, with his big, big debut, and he was like undefeated for a while after his debut. That they just seem to be like, okay, we've booked him strong to start off, and now we have no clue what to do with him. And it's like they reached that point where just like, okay, I don't know what else to do with you, so we're just gonna bring it back down. With Aiden English, like he's being featured a little more. We saw him in that segment with the fashion police and all that stuff. I think he's in need of a win, and I think it just makes sense for him to go over because they can give Dillinger a win some other time. But English has been, it seems like Aiden English loses all the time. So if they want to prop him up to as somewhat legitimate competition, they'll give him this match. So I'd say
it's not his fault that the Broad Villains ended. Simon Gosh had his own problems, and that's why they had to let him go. And it sucks. So they owe Aiden English something. They owe him because he stuck it. He did that gimmick. And he did it well. It was fine. Everything was great. And once something like that happens, and we see that a lot with tag teams, when something happens where someone leaves or they break up, it's hard for someone to just go out on their own and for the people to accept them as no longer part of that tag team. Because if you remember when he first signed, he was that singing guy from Broadway. On NXT, he came out and he was like, oh, and he would do his matches and he had his scarf and he was winning. He was a heel. And then he disappeared for a while, and then they paired him up with Simon, and then they had the Broad Villains, and I thought that was an awesome gimmick. I love the whole throwback idea and stuff, So now that fell apart, but they can keep him as going back to that whole singing I'm an asshole gimmick, and he can work. He's a good wrestler, so I think it'll work out for him, and hopefully he pays his dues, and whatever he was doing with Ty Dillinger, because Ty is a waste of space, so. He'll get that over, get that win, and move on. That's it.
How about you, Dana?
I just don't understand why they're wrestling. There's really no character development, no storyline between these two. It's like, let's just throw two random people together and have a pre-show match. I would have preferred Sami Zayn and Maria's husband instead. Because I don't understand what they're trying to do with that storyline, and I
don't get that.
Well, that match is. We'll get into that match next, but yeah, that's going to happen.
Oh, that match is actually on that card.
Oh yeah, it's on the card now.
See, that's it.
Oh, okay. See, that's how.
Yeah, that's how engaged we are with that shit. We don't know. We don't fucking know.
So yeah, it's further proof that they're throwing together matches and storylines for just no reason whatsoever. But as was previously said, I'm really sick and tired of the 10 guy. I don't understand that whole gimmick with Ty Dillinger. And I like Johnny English a little bit more. He has a better personality, and he knows how to wrestle. Doing with him, I just want him to be pushed a little bit more. So let him win the match that nobody really cares about.
I will say one other thing, because Ricky had already mentioned Yeah, they have definitely been showing Aiden English a little bit more. I do recall a recent segment he had with Randy Orton in which he actually got beat down Orton for a little while. But then, of course, Orton came back and beat his ass. But, yeah. So we'll see if they have something planned for Aiden English. But sounds like Ty Dillinger's 10 minutes of fame is over until they actually figure out how to use this character, which I'm disappointed because I figured that they had something for him. But they don't have anything for a lot of people. So, yeah, Aiden English is the choice. So let's go on, since you guys already mentioned it. Yes, Sami Zayn is going up against Mike Kanellis with Maria Kanellis. So I'll go ahead and say this. They've already had a match on SmackDown, and Mike Kanellis won that match because of Maria's help. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Sami Zayn is going to win tomorrow night. Because, again, the 50-50 booking, that's what my guess is. But how about you guys?
I could care less. I mean, this is, Maria coming in and then Mike taking her name. And obviously, because WWE feels that, the universe knows Maria. So it just makes sense, that he takes her name. But it's just no point. I mean, I don't care. This gimmick is horrible. This whole thing of like super in love and lovey-dovey, and I get it. It gives her more time, and she can talk because she's more of like his manager, sort of like Lana, not so much a valet, because people don't understand. People are like, oh, it's a valet. No, valet is like Queen Elizabeth, Miss Elizabeth, who doesn't say shit and just shows up, and then holds your robe and stuff. No, these are managers, So when they start talking on the mic and they start interfering in matches, and that's what she's doing, so she's pretty much his manager, and but I don't, who cares, I mean, it's like this whole thing doesn't do anything for me, and it doesn't do anything for a lot of people. If anything, it's showing that Sami Zayn, it just keeps getting dumped down, 1 minute he's up top and he's still relevant and he's in that title, Rumble matches and stuff, and then all of a sudden they dump him down to do this shit. This guy, Mike, should be going against Ty Dillinger and beating his ass. That's what he should be doing. He shouldn't be doing this up top, but, man, whatever. I mean, I was better with him. I don't even care. I don't even go with it. I don't care. That's it. So I don't care who wins. I hope the ref wins. That's it. That's my thing. The ref comes out. I'm ending this shit. Bing, bing, bing. DQ for both. I win. I'm going home. It's Miller time. Let me drink.
Okay. How about you, Ricky?
Hashtag Sammy to SmackDown. We need Sami Zayn on SmackDown because they're not doing anything with him on Raw, and he'll be treated right once he goes to SmackDown. He'll be the proper main eventer he deserves to be. He'll be in the WWE title picture and everything. Nothing has changed.
Nope.
He's still a jobber on
Now I heard a wrestler talk about this, and it was one of the sites, and he said that it's when you're a company guy, when you're easygoing and you don't complain and you do whatever they tell you, this is what happens. Because they said this is what's happening with Dolph in the back, and this is why he does it. This is what happens with Elias. This was also what happened with Rey Mysterio. He never complained. He was always like the go-to guy for shit. He did all kinds of stupid stuff. I mean, and this is what they do to these type of guys. If you don't complain and you don't push it and try to say, hey, I want to do something, I can stand up and do it, they'll just keep dumping you in all this bullshit storylines.
Yeah. I'll even argue that for a while, Dean Ambrose was in that role where it's basically the good hand, where it's like, we just need you to put on good matches. The fans will love you. We need you to put this guy over. We'll do you a solid later, and I'm sure Sammy's happy to oblige or whatever. He doesn't feel like he was a big deal in NXT and everything, and people loved him, and it just doesn't feel like he's a big deal now on the main roster. He's very, very mid-card right now.
Just like Bo Dallas. At least he's a little better than Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas, people don't understand, was an NXT champ for a long time. It was a big deal there. He was always on the mic, and now he's doing nothing. He's a backup guy for The Miz. Embarrassing.
Yeah, that's a really sad thing with Bo. Yeah, and it's too bad. And I actually thought before he joined forces with Miz that they might start something up with him. But no, he's just a lackey now. But that's a different show. Regarding this Sami Zayn, Mike Kanellis match, I'm going to agree with Rich and say Sami Zayn wins because of the 50-50 booking. We may get Mike Kanellis with a sneak attack at the end of the match to kind of even things out a bit. He's definitely a dirty guy. You consider him attacking Sami Zayn with the vase backstage, which I thought was hilarious. But and I have a feeling this is not going to be the end of this little feud here. They'll continue it. They'll continue it further beyond the pay-per-view. But I'm going to say Sami Zayn gets the win, but Mike Kanellis will be the one standing tall at the end. That's my prediction.
Good prediction, yes. How about you, Dana?
I think, as was previously said, I see Sami Zayn as being the yes guy, and this is one of those matches where, remember what CM Punk was saying back what Triple H said in the day, if you do this for me, don't worry, you're going to get that big push. And each situation ends up being that if you do this for me, and I feel that this match is a do this for me push that's never really going to come. So, yeah, I see winning this easily. He wants to make a name for himself. I think that WWE wants to introduce him more, and by having this win under his belt, it'll be like a introduction to the people who really care about this segment or this match or even him existing. So he's gonna win. No one really cares, but he'll win.
Sounds good.
Once again, be screwed. But don't worry, because in the next match he'll be promised something.
Yeah, he'll be promised that he'll be doing a lot of jumping around, a lot of bumping, and he won't win. But yeah, that's good points. Good points. Good points. We'll see what happens. Okay.
I feel like the only time they put him in big matches is when it's going against his buddy Owen. That's it.
Yeah, the person that they wasn't supposed to have any more matches together.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that supposedly that ended and it's constant now. So whatever.
Ridiculous.
That's going to be the new Cena versus Orton. The last match until it's not.
And that will be followed by The Miz and Dean Ambrose because they can't seem to end that feud either. So we'll see.
At least they're being consistent for the moment.
Yeah, for now. Okay, let's move on to the next match, which is the Usos defending the tag team championships against the New Day. Now, I just want to say this. I look at Battleground, and I look at the fact that SummerSlam is next month. I don't really think any major title changes are going to happen on this particular pay-per-view for that reason. So I have to say Usos definitely will retain. I think the Usos should keep the belts anyway because, they have them as the heel personas. A little bit better, but I definitely see them once again finding a way to win. Now, the last match, they didn't finish. They just walked out of the match, This time, they'll probably get a, some type of controversial win, but I definitely think the Usos will retain without question. So how about you guys?
Don't care. Just don't see it. It's like New Day. Think about it. I mean, New Day, they always advertise they were the longest running champs. Okay. So you're going to start that run again? Don't care with that. And the Usos, I'm still not sold on this new gimmick, which I heard is more like them, just more laid back and they get to talk and goof and stuff, but it just doesn't click with me at all. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I could care less who wins.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Dana?
I'm actually probably the only person looking forward to this. I love their whole rivalry, culminating in the big, Xavier Woods sex tape line. So I don't want the Usos to lose. I want this to continue to SummerSlam because I like the chemistry between both of the teams. and I think they work very well together. I love that they're both great on the mic. So I'm probably the only one who's enjoying this. Winning, I want the Usos to win, and then, go into SummerSlam. It'll be, the New Day's big win. And remember, they're the ones that's on all of the posters, and they're in all of the promos for SummerSlam. So I really see them in the next pay-per-view. But I'm looking forward to this match, no matter who wins. Because to me, they don't even have to wrestle. They can just talk on the mic, and I'm good. Have another rap battle. And, throw Paige in there.
Yeah, well, they can have another rap battle. They better be careful because Alberto Del Rio will find them. He will come to that auditorium and he will beat down all of them. And then after that, he'll go after the guy with a big nose and no balls. So they got to be careful with that one. Yeah. Okay, Ricky, who was your pick?
My heart is saying the Usos. I'm really enjoying their run as heels, but my head is saying that they're gonna have the New Day win it because if you'll recall, they had a tag title match back at Money in the Bank that the Usos retained by countout. So this one will kind of be a payoff for a New Day, and it'll give a title change to an otherwise lower pay-per-view, just to keep things interesting. That's just the way I see it. So I think New Day will win the belts back. I'm not sure what the plan will be for SummerSlam. It could be a thing where it's just New Day versus Usos once again, or they may add other tag teams to it. But I have a feeling that that's how it's going to go down, that New Day is going to be the new champs.
Very possible. Good explanation also. Well, we'll see about that. Interesting. Okay, the next match we have Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch versus Natalya versus Tamina versus Lana in a fatal five-way elimination match to determine the number one contender for the women's title. Now, let me go ahead and just say right now that I don't know why the hell Lana is even in this match, because they gave her three.
Why. You know why.
Oh, because she looks good. She looks good,
There
right?
you go. That's it. Remember?
That's all it is.
The look.
Need that look. We just talked about that with the fucking Elias Sampson. You got the look.
Yeah, but she lost 3 title matches in a row.
She'll win this one.
But this is all for Total Divas. This is for that storyline. She's going to have her redemption story.
So you tell me Lana will eventually have that belt?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. This is going to make I see this as being all for Total Divas storyline. Because if you look at the way it is right now, WWE really doesn't care about the Divas Revolution or even wrestling with females. Everything, maybe with that tournament they do, but right now, no. Right now, they're trying to sell Total Divas. And this, for me, I see as being a match. So that's why everything went completely downhill when it came to the actual wrestling.
So that's a good point. There's part of me that
in the show, I see them addressing it and being like, "Oh my God, you can't wrestle," and her being hated on as, basically taking the place as the Bellas, because everyone hated the Bellas because they can't wrestle.
Good point. Good point. So, well, I'll just say this. As far as what my pick would be. My thought is that you make a lot of great points, because I do know when they do have SummerSlam, it's going to be a joint show. There's going to be some matches on that card that are going to be a little bit of a weaker matches, but they'll have other stronger ones on there. So I do think a heel will win, but there's also part of me that thinks that, I could see somebody else winning, such as a Becky, such as a Charlotte, and then you would have Carmella cash in her title at SummerSlam. But I will just say for now, because they have this whole thing where Lana is not really, the person that you expect to win, she could pull up an upset. So I'll go ahead and I'll say, yeah, it could be Lana that wins this match. Is this who I want to win the match? Absolutely not. But yeah, I'll go ahead and say Lana just to see what happens. So how about you guys?
Lana wins.
Uh-oh. There you go.
They're just going to give it to Lana. They're just, I mean, this is it. This is where they're going story-wise. Everybody else is just filler. This is how they can explain it. She's going to find some sneaky way, and she's going to win it. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. How about you, Ricky?
We're going to have Lana versus Naomi for the belt. Then we're going to do it again the following week. And then we're going to do it again the following week. Remember when they had like her have like 3 title matches in like it seemed like 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever it was. And I feel like that was Vince McMahon kind of waffling whether he wanted to actually give her the belt or not. Like he was tempted to just give Lana the title because she's got that look, that classic, classic look, whatever. Charlotte and Becky Lynch have already established themselves. They can be number 1 contender at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need to win this match. Tamina, I'm not sold on her at all, so I'm just dismissing her entirely. Natalya is a dark horse in this. This is basically because like I feel like she's been kind of like a locker room leader, and they may do her a solid, but I don't know. Naomi versus Natalya wouldn't be very interesting. And it seems that the way Naomi talks about Lana, like how she's fed up with her, it seems like that's going to continue. So yeah, I'm going to go with you guys picking Lana. One thing to definitely keep in mind is this little, drawing a blank on this term. It's a partnership between Lana and Tamina that's recently happened. I feel like that may factor into this match, that they may pair up and try to take out the other 3. I don't think those 2 will be the last ones. I think it'll be like Lana against Charlotte or something, but Lana will find a way to win in some crazy way. That's just the way I see it. Because otherwise, if it's Charlotte or Becky winning it, then Carmella has to be cashing in on Naomi before SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that they're going to give that away like that. So I'll just say that's my long way of just saying it's going to be Lana.
Good explanation. Man, yeah, we'll see. So how about Dana?
I thought I gave my thing, Lana.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. Yeah. All right, yeah. There you go. Then, so Lana, unanimous. So we'll see. We'll see about Lana. Okay, so a few more matches. We have, of course, a returning John Cena versus Rusev in a flag match. Now, they already had this match a while ago, so I don't know why they're going back to it again.
Well, if you remember, we talked about this a little bit. It's like, Rusev was all about Russia for a while. Remember, it was Putin, and he had the Russian medal and stuff, but with all this shit happening now, politics, they just like scrapped it. Now we're going to go with the whole Bulgaria thing, which he really is Bulgarian. And then they're going to bring back the whole flag match and stuff and, make John the American hero again. And I just don't see the point of this. And I think that's the other reason why a lot of people like, what the fuck? This is a filler match. Flag matches and shit, that's a filler matches. Because it does nothing. It's like, oh, let me beat you up and run up and take a flag off. I'm not using it as a weapon. I don't have to do anything special with it. I just have to hold the damn flag. Pointless fucking match.
Absolutely agree with that. And let me also add in the fact of this whole thing about, yes, America going up against the enemy. So why isn't John Cena going against Jinder Mahal, since they are portraying him as another character that is threatening and talking about
why are all these minorities considered enemies? What the fuck?
Yeah. Well,
race, all races. I'm pissed. Now think about it. It's all of them. It's like shit. If you're not from here, you're a freaking enemy. I'm waiting for them to flip on Shinsuke then.
Oh well, don't worry. I think the writers are already doing their best to make sure that they flip on him. But we'll get to him next. But yeah, obviously John Cena wins. Yeah, you know, because they have to make John. This is his first match back. Well, first real, I guess you could say, pay-per-view quality match, if you want to call it a pay-per-view, back. So I say he wins, looking strong, heading into SummerSlam, where he will either face, you know, Jinder Mahal or AJ Styles, whoever they decide that they figure he should be going after as far as the title.
Isn't Rusev also coming back from an injury?
Yes, he is.
Right? So maybe that's why they did this bullshit flag match, because they're like, he can't really do a full match, and you've been doing TV and movies and shit. You probably aren't, 100% for a real match. So let's just do this squash match, and you just got to climb up top and grab this damn thing.
That's a very good point. I didn't think about that. It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah.
So I say John Cena win. Who did you say? You said Rusev?
Yeah, why not? Fuck it. Who cares? Yeah, I'd say Rusev. Rusev wins. He takes both flags. He merges them. He makes a new flag, the Rusev flag. And then that's it. I mean, think about who really needs to win this match.
No one.
Because no one really, but Rusev, because if you're trying to get him over as a heel, and he's coming back from injury, and we know, with all the different jobs that Cena has, he's not going to be full-time there, because remember, he jumps from Raw to SmackDown. He can go anywhere. He's a free agent. And under that law, then you don't want someone, with a free agent winning all your matches. So, just help out the guy who is going to be working there full-time. Give him the rub, make him a dirty heel. He's going to beat you up. He's going to take that American flag. He's going to grab the wrong flag, take the American flag. What the hell? Why did he do that? Just so he can beat you with that damn flag, and then he'll grab his flag, and everybody will boo the shit out of him. And then that's it. He's over. And then he'll hurt John Cena. John Cena can go do whatever shows or movies he's doing, because he'll be out. When he comes back, people will forget all about that last match, and he'll be on Raw, and then he'll start some other beef on Raw. That's just...
Yeah, possible. Yeah, you're right. We'll see. How about you, Ricky? Who's your choice?
I really don't care.
There you go. There you go.
I've seen this match a million times already. It reminds me of the John Cena that I didn't like. Typical, stereotypical America, fuck yeah. Every other country, evil type of bullshit. There's zero chance that Rusev is winning this match. Especially when you're talking about like you're putting the American flag against the Bulgarian flag. American flag's going to go over every single time. So Cena's going to win this match, and I'm going to continue not giving a shit.
Good one. How about you, Dana?
You guys are so unpatriotic. It's ridiculously unpatriotic. Yeah, Cena's gonna win, but this is a fight for America, American values. John Cena, he hosts American Grit. He was on the Today Show, saying how we are a country of one. We let everyone in, except Rusev. So he'll win.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of what to piggyback off of what Dana just said, yes, he will win also, because that will soften the blow later when Jinder Mahal wins. Because they're not going to have both Randy Orton and John Cena win. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no.
Ultimate match. America against, where's he from? I forgot where he's from.
Bulgaria.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, maybe something with Jinder Mahal will be thrown in there later on. We don't know how this goes. John Cena's a free agent. Remember, he can go anywhere he wants to. Do I see him later on? America fighting Jinder Mahal now.
The only time that I will cheer for John Cena is when he goes against Roman Reigns and he beats the hell out of Roman Reigns. That'll be the only time that I'll cheer from Cena moving forward now.
Oh, you can't have an American hero go against Vince's favorite hero.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, well, it will happen at some point. But we'll see. We'll see. So that's good. Let's move on to the next match. There's only 3 matches left. because I know Adam can't wait to, he can't wait to get ready to start watching this pay-per-view tomorrow. So we'll be quick with the next three. We have this match, and I have to admit, I'm looking forward to this match because the build-up to the match has been entertaining, even though it has been horrible, and that is Shinsuke Nakamura versus Baron Corbin. Now, obviously, they were supposedly going to have a match on SmackDown. That wasn't a match. That was an encounter, a little brawl that didn't lead to a match. So they basically used that to tease the match that they're actually going to have at the pay-per-view. The reason why I'm looking forward to this match is because, I find it hilarious how Baron Corbin just attacks Nakamura every time he has whether he's in an interview or he's coming out to the ring. I find that hilarious. That's funny. But with that said, Baron Corbin is the Money in the Bank guy. And, I do recall an individual in the past that held Money in the Bank and still lost matches because they figured, well, he already was going to get a title at some point, so we don't need to have him looking strong leading up to the actual, when he actually gets the belt. So I think that Nakamura needs to win this match. I want him to win the match. But I just don't know how that's going to go down because Baron Corbin, he has the Money in the Bank. I don't think he needs to win it. He's already won that. So I feel like Nakamura needs to win this match so that you can build and then you still show that he is a dominant character because they haven't really done a good job with him so far. So I'm going to say Nakamura is who will win, but I could be wrong. How about you guys?
Shinsuke's going to win. They're still trying to get him over with the people, so I see him winning this. But that's the thing. It's like, I just don't, I don't know. Shinsuke's great, but I think he needs to be in big matches. I don't think it just doesn't work well for me when he's doing like these smaller things. I don't know. I think he should have what I'm basically saying is like he should have had the AJ style treatment, that he is a big star from somewhere else. And you got to treat him like that. So he deserves to be already with the big boys, doing big matches and stuff. None of this build-up shit that they've been doing where he had to prove himself against Dolph Ziggler and all that. Don't need that.
You're right.
I mean, it's like, why is it that you can say AJ came from Japan and hype him up and do it, but you can't say Shinsuke? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you're right. And just to add one point, even when Kevin Owens came in, they had put him right up against John Cena in the very beginning.
Just threw him right at the top.
Yeah. So they should have did that with Shinsuke. I'm not sure why they didn't, but instead they had put him with Dolph Ziggler. So hey, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
And I wonder if that was a favor to Dolph Ziggler. What we were saying, how Triple H likes to say, "Don't worry, I got you" later. Like, yo, you're gonna be feuding with Shinsuke. Yeah. You're not gonna win him, but you're gonna help get him over. I got you.
That's very possible. Oh, so how about you, Ricky? I know you've been enjoying this back and forth between Nakamura and Corbin. So who do you think is going to win?
Oh man, I agree. Nakamura is going to win this. And yes, I have been enjoying all the attacks from behind and all that stuff. It's just absolutely absurd. I agree with the point that you made earlier that the Money in the Bank briefcase is basically protection for whoever holds it. It's common that the Money in the Bank holder loses a lot of matches before cashing in and winning the belt. So I think, and to what Adam said, that they need to continue to get Nakamura over. So I think Nakamura's going to win. I'm going to make the point that I don't like that he's laboring through all of these matches, no matter who the opponent is. He should be beating people quickly. He should be treated like a big deal because, to me, he is a big deal. And they need to stop calling him the fucking artist because he's not. He is the king of strong style. They can't use that term. I get that. Or they may not be able to. I don't know.
Well, it confuses me because remember, that's a strong style is not a term in the WWE universe. So they don't want to imply, because then that implies that he's going stiff, and so that means also you're saying that all you guys been doing is soft style, so I think that's the only reason why they don't do it.
And also, you said strong style. Anytime the word strong is mentioned, Vince thinks of Roman Reigns. So no, they cannot. If they said that, it'll be Roman Reigns. They'll be calling him, but instead they call him the big dog. So no.
I hate that.
The big dog.
I hate that.
But what's most confusing about that is that it's just a random. If you just only watch WWE, it's such a random term that you have no idea what it even means, and they never explained it, which I also think is one of the things that's hindering Nakamura, because here you have this guy from another country doing a style that watchers have never heard before, and they don't really utilize that because since June 18th he's been getting hit from behind by Baron Corbin. So it's like they don't know what to do.
Hey, you're right. It's funny though. I have been thoroughly entertained, especially when he comes out to his entrance and his interruptions. This has been entertaining for sure. But no, go ahead, Ricky. I didn't want to cut you off.
No, I was finishing up that he needs to be treated like a big deal, and I don't think that having long matches with Ziggler's doing anyone any favors. So I don't know. I definitely hope that he'll be in the WWE title picture at some point. But I'm actually going to kind of go off the point that I was going to make regarding the Cena Rusev thing. I'm going to make that point here with Nakamura. It's that Vince McMahon really does not care for giving foreign wrestlers, top belt. He may give an exception to Canada, but you can count on one hand the number of wrestlers that have won the WWE title outside of North America. Bruno Sammartino's from Italy. You have Andre the Giant from France. You have Sheamus from Ireland. If you want to count Kane, who was born in Spain, but that was in American, he's a military
base.
Yeah, then that would be 4. So you have on one hand, of all the 50 WWE champions, only 3 or 4 have been outside of North America. And Nakamura would be number 4, number 5, depending on how you want to count it, if that ever happens. I am not seeing it. So, but I just really hope I'm wrong. I hope that they book him better. But they're calling him the freaking artist. The artist known as Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't think they know what they're doing with him. So I'm done. Yeah.
Good points. We'll see. Dana, who is your pick?
I think that Nakamura needs this win more because people are going to start to lose interest. And WWE is invested in this time in Nakamura and has promoted him. And I think that it would be wise for him to win this match. I think that they probably need to work on the branding of him, but he needs to win this way more than Corbin does. So my hope is that he wins.
Yeah, hopefully so. Yeah, he does need to win. So that's what my hope is as well. But we'll see what they do. So wait, repeat what you said?
And he's coming across as being, not living up to his name, essentially. He's been attacked from behind from the longest, and he's supposed to be this great wrestler from Japan. And he's not really being able to showcase that. So it just seems like WWE does not know what to do with him.
I think they only
yeah.
I think the only time
actually have him succeed is for him to win this match. But I just don't know that I can also see WWE not thinking clearly and having Corbin win.
That'll be funny, but no, they can't do that because he's been beating down Nakamura. So you got to have the bad guy lose now. There has to be some type of revenge that Nakamura gets over him. But no, well, Adam, you was gonna say something.
Well, they sort of teased during that ladder match the whole AJ and Shinsuke, and that's a nod to Japan, to people that watched it or heard about the feuds that they had in Japan. So I think he has to win this so that way that can happen. You know, but then I hope once he's up there, he's always up there. You know what I mean? And he just stays up there until they move him to Raw. And he does some time in Raw, and then he leaves and goes back to Japan. So he needs to win this match, and he needs to get up there and have these crazy styles and these crazy type of matches. And they have to let him be himself, just like they have to let AJ, you know, do AJ. Because that's the thing. We're seeing a modified version. It's like, I noticed with a lot of these wrestlers, and if you look them up online, and you'll be like, oh, I remember this guy did this move, or he did dirty style, this and this and that. And then when they come over, they package them in a way that you don't see all that other stuff. So then they're in their own little set routine. You know, and I'm hoping that when you get two guys that have worked in another organization doing all their crazy shit, that when they put them in here, that they can do it, that they can go at it. You know, and that we could see something new from both ends. You know, sort of like when we talked about how Kevin Owens pulled off all these crazy moves on John Cena. We never saw that again, you know, but they let him do it. And Cena wanted him to do it because he wanted to show off, yo, this is Owen. You know, this is not just some big dude. Look at this shit. He can do all these crazy moves, you know, and I hope that happens. You know, I hope we see that happen. But I don't know. I feel like when they start packaging these guys and they say, all right, do this, do that, do this. You know, we're under this time strain here, so that's all we need, and then wrap it up. So, you know, hopefully, you know, he gets over. But I have a feeling he's going to win this just so they can push him toward AJ, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, he needs to win it. I agree. He 100% needs to win it. And speaking of AJ Styles, let's get into the next match, which I think should be the main event for this pay-per-view, because we already know damn well Punjabi prison match. I don't know about that, son. The gender is not over like that. But we have AJ Styles defending the U.S. title against Kevin Owens. Considering the fact that AJ Styles won this title at a house show, I feel as though this would be an opportunity for Kevin Owens to win it back. But I'm going to go ahead and say that, well, they can have another match at SummerSlam, because I feel like that's going to happen anyway. So I think that Styles will retain. Just because. I could be wrong. That's my pick. How about you guys?
I think he could stick with it. You know, I think he'll stick with it, and I think it'll be crazy booking, but they won't do it. But let's say Shinsuke wins his match, right? Then he goes into the next match. AJ and Owens are having a brutal match. Shinsuke comes out and does Shinsuke, you know, on Owens, you know, when the ref isn't looking, and then AJ wins and looks at him, and then he grabs the mic. Shinsuke grabs the mic and says, "I want to beat you for that belt." You know, and I was like, oh, okay, you know, there you go. Now he's the badass that we know from Japan. He's just taking matters in his own hands. It won't happen, but I think AJ will find some way to win.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. I would love to see that. I mean, the match is going to happen at some point. Maybe WrestleMania, I guess. I don't know. It is going to happen, though. You will see it. But, Dana, how about you? Who do you pick?
I don't know. I don't have much interest.
Pick the ref, then. I picked the ref.
The ref. He shall win. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, the ref.
There you
That's
go.
my answer.
Ouch. I thought you were interested in AJ and Kevin Owens. I guess, man, that's shocking.
But no, it's not that I'm not. It's just the fact that it doesn't seem to be that interesting anymore. On paper, it seems so great. And they're both great hard workers, and they both really put their all into the ring. But,
well, okay, so
I like them both. If I had to pick randomly, I'm going to just go with AJ Styles. Randomly. I like them both fully, but it's just not something, it's not a great build-up. So,
well here's the quick question.
Yeah.
If this was for the world title, would that make it a more exciting match?
That would make it for something that I care about, and I would be more interested. This is just another, SmackDown match.
Yeah. I think, like I said, you know.
Supposed to care because it's on the card, but I really don't. So just let AJ win.
Now, if they
And
made
the
it a
rest.
barbed wire match, then I'd want to watch that. But yeah, there we go. No,
Make it a
not
strong
interested.
style match.
Yeah, exploding ring.
Would fit the whole battleground theme.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Battleground should be like an Extreme Rules, exploding ring, barbed wire, hatchets, forks. Bring everything back. Sabu runs in on every match. Like, oh no, Sabu! The lights go out. Oh man, that'd be awesome. But it's not
Sabu's
happening.
in the corner somewhere.
Right? He's just in the corner. Lights come back on. He's just jumping off the top with the chair. Oh, Sabu! Joey Styles is screaming from somewhere, but he's not part of commentary. That'll be awesome.
Yeah. Well, okay, Ricky, who is your pick?
Oh, I've been going back and forth on this because the timing of having AJ get the belt off Owens threw me off completely. I figured this was something that they would save for later. But now I'm not quite sure what they're planning on doing.
Just pick the white guy.
So what I'm going to do is heads is AJ Styles and tails is Kevin Owens. It's heads, so AJ Styles will be retaining, which I can see because it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense for them to hot potato the belt back and forth so quickly like that. I get them wanting to make the Madison Square Garden thing a big deal by having AJ win it there, but they should have him hold on to it a little longer because the belt looks really good on him. Actually, I think that any belt that AJ Styles has carries a legitimacy. So that's just how great a wrestler he is. And if you take away what belt this is, you look at it, AJ Styles and Kevin Owens in the same ring. If you're just imagining this a few years ago, before either of them were on the main roster, you'd see that as a dream match. Two great athletes, two great performers, going at it. So
I don't know if they've ever faced each other. I know they were both at Ring of Honor at the same time, but I don't know if they've ever faced each other.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I think one thing that would have been kind of cool on Owens' side is if he was threatening to turn the United States Championship into the Canadian Championship, because then now you're playing into the whole, national pride thing. The theme of Battleground this year is what colors are you representing? And so that would be a really cool thing where, Kevin Owens, instead of saying that he's the new face of America, he's going to say, like, nah, I'm going to take this belt back to Canada and I'm going to make it our own, that kind of thing.
Let me post this. Yeah, I found it. They did wrestle at Ring of Honor 5. Kevin Steen versus AJ Styles. There you go.
Oh, cool.
Is the match.
By the way, Vince doesn't want you to know that. He only wants you to know about WWE.
But I'm telling people that are listening, if you're hearing this before the show, go ahead, look this up. AJ Styles, Kevin Steen, because then you get to see how they work together, how they mesh, and what you could expect, and what you may not see, because there's so many things that WWE just don't let these guys do. So I'm sure they'll have a great match, but under the fact that it's not really a main event and it's not on a big stage like a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam where you see like anything goes, I'm not hyped for this. I just don't see an interest in, because in my mind, I'm setting this up that it's only going to really make sense that AJ has the belt so he can feud with Shinsuke. So that's it. That's where I see that going. So I just don't see. So if Kevin Owens wins the belt, so what? What does that say? Nothing. What? Then that points to Shinsuke going for that belt. And that's not what they want. And that's not what they know people want, or else they wouldn't have done that during the ladder match. Remember when they were both going to climb the ladder, and they both agreed to move the ladder out the way, and they just started going at it. People went nuts, and it's because that's it. That's what people want to see.
Yeah, you're right. Well, we'll see what happens, but definitely one of the matches I am looking forward to tomorrow. And now the main event, ladies and gentlemen, the match that you've been waiting for. Jinder Mahal will defend the title against Randy Orton in the Punjabi prison match. So I'll just go ahead and start off. Obviously, Jinder Mahal will win because it wouldn't make sense. I mean, now we already know about the whole deal that WWE has with India. I believe that they're going to need him to be champion, heading into September. So obviously he has to win this match to get to SummerSlam, and then at that point, who he faces at SummerSlam, whether it's John Cena or whoever else they decide. But this Randy Orton thing is over with. It's done and over with. I can't really tell you how he'll lose it. Maybe the Singh brothers get involved once again, because as we've already seen, the Singh brothers always have to get involved for Jinder to win. So, but this is going to be interesting. But yeah, I don't really care about the match. I obviously want to see the structure, and then we'll see how horrible they do as far as the execution of the actual match itself. But yeah, Jinder is going to retain.
I mean, it's horrible for people trying to watch the match, because it's like it's so much obstruction of view. You know what I mean? It's like it's a cage within a cage. So even when they show the camera shots, it's still kind of hard to see what's going on. So they're gonna need a camera almost above, like maybe at the top corner of one of the cages, just to get a good shot. But it's horrible. And then I could imagine it's probably even worse for people that are there, trying to see what's going on. Stupid. It's a stupid match. I thought they banished that. I thought they vowed never to use that. It was on one. I think it was on one of their lists of like worst match gimmicks. Gimmick matches. And it's so stupid. Punjabi cage. Oh, come on.
Yeah, it is. Well, we'll see. Who is your pick? Is it Jinder?
It's got to be Jinder. It's all about what's best for business, and that's what's best for business right now. We said about the whole India thing. It makes sense. Randy Orton, I don't know if he's still filming that movie or if he's done filming the movie that they have him on. But, he doesn't need the belt. He knows he doesn't need the belt, and that's the whole thing. That's when I think you made it. When you're a wrestler, you're still selling merch. People cheer you, good or bad, they cheer you. You're making money. And you don't need that damn belt. That belt is given to people that they're trying to get over. It puts a spotlight on them, so that way they can shine. It's telling the people, look at him for this reason. He doesn't need it. Everybody likes Randy Orton, so he knows that. So it doesn't matter. I think it's going to be Jinder's time to see if he can run with this. Like you said, he sort of stumbles when he's doing his interviews, but he's never been in the spotlight like this. When he was in that 3-man band, he was in the spotlight. He wasn't the main guy of that. So this is his first time. And obviously he put in the work with the working out and the steroids and stuff. He's doing his part. So by doing his part, he has to, earn his keep. And he's doing it. And I think he's going to earn his keep by performing well, holding it. He's going to do all the interviews when they do their European and India tour. And it'll be fine. And then he can lose it right after that. And it's all up to how he impressed Vince, if he stays as one of the main guys in the roster up there, or does he just slide down and disappears as if the shit never happened.
Yeah, the sliding will happen.
That's the thing. Yeah, the slide will happen. It's how far. It's like Chutes and Ladders. Did he get the big ladder down, or does he get the little ladder down? So. Or does he get like the one that's like a real slide that goes all the way down, like what we were talking about with Sami Zayn? Wee! I don't know where I'm coming back. I'm going to the basement.
That's a good one. Good explanation there. Who do you have, Ricky?
And now I will speak to my people in English. I think it's going to be Jinder. I think he has to retain it, for reasons already mentioned, the tour in India and all that. He's got to hold the belt there. My fear is that they're going to have him eventually drop it to Cena. But I don't know. For now, like, Orton doesn't need it. And this Punjabi prison match was built specially for Jinder Mahal to go over. I didn't see. I'm kind of. I'll be honest. I'm kind of excited to see how this goes because I wasn't following the product the last time they had it. I think when the Great Khali was in a match with that, but yeah, definitely the Singh brothers will be involved, and Jinder will retain, and then that will be the end of that feud. I think it'll be Cena and Jinder at SummerSlam. Yeah.
Does anybody know if a real Punjabi prison looks like that? You know, it's like, is that what a real Punjabi prison looks like? I'll look this shit up.
Good question. I'm not sure.
All right. While I'm looking this up, Dana, who do you see winning this?
I see John Cena actually winning.
Nice.
Sorry. I think, John Cena coming back. He's the big guy still in the company right now. He's been really good over the past few weeks. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing him. And he brings that kind of energy that's clearly been missing from SmackDown. And I want him to win because right now, SmackDown is very dead. It's dead inside. And I need for John Cena to come back and resuscitate it. And I see that this match is not going to be exactly, fascinating or one of those captivating events. But I don't exactly see it being a complete failure. I see it going maybe a good 20 minutes. And we're going to see some things that's going to be, some nice little spots here and there. Not the entire match, but some small little spots that are really interesting and catches our attention. But overall, I just see him winning. Look, WWE did the deal with India. They're happy. Over in India, they're happy. And I see him dropping and coming into SummerSlam with the belt, and it's, gonna make everything all exciting once again. So he's gonna win.
So just to clarify, you say Jinder will win. He will beat Randy Orton, and John Cena will take that belt away from him at SummerSlam.
Yeah, Cena's going to later come on and take that belt. Randy Orton right now, I don't even see him as a factor. He just seems like he's going through the motions.
Yeah, so I'll add in this quick fact. If John Cena does win that belt at SummerSlam, I guarantee Corbin will cash in that same night on John Cena. Because he's already had a match with John Cena in which John Cena beat him. So
that doesn't matter. It can't be no continuity with WWE.
No, just to link with that. I mean, I just post you guys so you could see, and people listening, go look up Undertaker versus Big Show Punjabi Prison, and that's basically just a cell. They didn't have the 2 tiers; it's just 1 tier, and they didn't even have to climb out. It was like a time limit. And the time limit ran out, and so it didn't happen really. No one really won, And it's like, I remember when they did the Batista versus Great Khali, and they had to climb over the tiers, and that was a pain in the ass to watch, because they're so big and slow and stuff. So I guess that's when they scrapped it. And then with the Undertaker Big Show, like, yeah, these big dudes are not climbing out of this shit. So there you go. Yeah, see, they don't care. They'll change things up on the whim. Next time we see the Punjabi prison or whatever, maybe it'll look like a elimination chamber.
I see that
they'll put a lid on it.
As being as decoration. I don't really see it as being used in some type of brutal way. It's just all for show and decoration. Yeah,
because that's the thing with this new model. So I know that there's a cell. I mean, the doors, right? And they said there's a time for the doors. But what about the second tier? Are there doors for second tier, or you have to still climb over the second?
Still got to climb over it.
You have to climb over it.
I don't even see them using the second tier.
Yeah, they probably won't get that far. Unless Great Khali comes out from underneath the ring to help.
Heaven forbid. Oh, my God.
Oh,
gosh. No, yeah, I did think it was weird, like, this past SmackDown when they showed what the Punjabi prison looked like. I'm like, damn, there's not many good angles for the camera to look into there. it's going to be a bit of a challenge for the viewer, and like Adam said, even worse for the people in the arena. They're going to have to spend a lot of their time looking up at a Titantron trying to see what's going on. But to go back into what Rich said about Corbin cashing in at SummerSlam, that'd be very interesting because if you'll recall, the next Cena WWE title victory will break Ric Flair's record. So you would think they'd have some kind of big celebration or whatever, and that would be quite the thing to have Corbin throw a wet blanket on that by cashing in immediately and ruining that moment, and that would really like put Corbin up on a pedestal there. So that'd be fascinating to happen, and I think that because it's such a good idea, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, very good point. Very good point. Well, we'll see. But that concludes Battleground predictions. I don't know if there's anything else that you guys briefly wanted to mention. I think we've covered everything WWE for tonight. But if you have anything else to mention, feel free to do so now.
Just that maybe we might see Rey Mysterio. I don't know if that's true. Supposedly, they're in talks to try to bring him in, on a part-time schedule, sort of like what they've done with other guys and like Brock, So who knows? Anything's possible. I know before he wanted to get out because he was tired of the schedule. It's a hectic schedule. It's like a traveling circus. You're always on the road, and I get it. But if he can get that reduced schedule, if they can grant that, I could see that relationship working out. So that's it. Besides that, Costa Rica versus U.S., because I am patriotic. That game is still going on in the Gold Cup. It's 0-0, 45th minute.
Oh, thanks for the reminder. Shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I was like, I don't know if I could do that long because I need to see some footy ball.
Yeah, this is do or die time. They're in the knockout round in the semi.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Hope USA pulls this off.
But it's crazy. According to the stats here that I'm looking at, goal.com, it's 0-0, but there's only been one shot on goal by Costa Rica. That's crazy. 45th minute, only one shot on goal.
Wow, and Costa Rica's not bad either. So that's a bit surprising.
Yeah.
On the wrestling note, I've just kind of been wondering to myself, when Asuka's going to appear on the main roster. I feel like she's been in NXT for a bit too long at this point. I don't know what they're going to do with her and how they're going to introduce her and everything, and whether they're going to have her drop the NXT women's belt or not. But I feel as though they got to make up their mind soon on this. That's just my opinion.
I could see them doing something cheesy, like linking her with Shinsuke and put them in like a weird relationship, and then dating.
I could see it.
And, and that they do all these crazy mixed tag matches and they do all this other stuff. And it's like, the Japanese crazy couple because they're both wild and scream and very over the top, so I could see that.
Eating sushi together and everything.
Sushi and
it's McMahon's, mind in action.
Mm-hmm.
I just will say one quick thing. If they really want to surprise me as well as everybody else, you will have her, whenever she makes her debut, have her come in and beat whoever the champion is right in from the very beginning. So then you will still have this thing. Yes, she was dominant in NXT. She's already dominant on the main roster now. She's on now that she's there. But we'll see.
I could see her not retiring, but leaving NXT as champ and moving up and being the first ever undefeated champ. Because at that point, they'll do it because she's not leaving the company. She's just moving up.
Yeah.
So I could see her just surrendering the title and moving up, and then that way, if it doesn't work out, they could always bump her back down to NXT. And like, I want my belt back, and it's like, all right, well, you deserve a title shot. I mean, you were undefeated.
Have her bring the belt with her.
See?
Like, in case you don't know who I am.
Yeah, like the way they did with Flair. Remember when he showed up years ago and they blurred out like the images, but he had belts on him, from NWA and stuff.
The real world champion.
Yeah.
Or even Kevin Owens, when he got called up, he had the NXT belt with him, and was flaunting that. So that could work. Yeah. And I haven't been watching them because the times aren't very convenient. But I guess they're in the middle of the G1 Climax tournament in New Japan. And I'm just kind of following along the results there, and I'm going to be very interested to see who they have win that tournament. Because whoever wins that will get the title shot at Wrestle Kingdom in January.
Kingdom 12, I think. That's
yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
And there we go.
So that pretty much wraps up this week's episode. We thank you all for listening. Definitely feel free to leave some comments and let us know who you think is going to actually win at the pay-per-view tomorrow night. And we will pretty much talk to you all next week. But final shout-outs? Any final shout-outs for you, Adam?
Not so much. I'll see you guys throw down tomorrow. Throw down your questions. And then, of course, throw down on Thursdays. And that's pretty much it. Just keep watching wrestling. If you're going to watch this Battleground, whatever. If you're not, don't bother. Go on Netflix. Go watch some Lucha Underground. Catch up on that. Because whatever you see on Lucha will be 10 times more entertaining what you're going to see on Battleground. And then that's it. Just enjoy life. I mean, we do have a lot of other options when it comes to wrestling, which is great. We're in a good time for wrestling when it comes to that. But that's it. Have a good weekend.
Yes, sounds good. Dana, any final words or shout-outs?
Shout out to the Mattel. They got a new Barbie line for the WWE female wrestlers. That's nice. Anyone with children, that's something that's very nice. So yeah, good for that. Watch Battleground. Don't watch Battleground. Right now it's a toss-up. I don't blame anyone if you don't watch it. Watch Glow instead.
Yeah.
Enjoy Glow.
Oh yeah. Catch up on that. Go watch some Glow. Watch that Glow series. It was really good.
Spend your time wisely in Glow.
Absolutely. And how about you, Ricky? Any shout-outs? Final words?
Well, shout out to every single person who watches these podcasts. Keep doing it. Spread the word. We enjoy doing this. We want more people to watch, more people to comment, more people to join. It would be great. So, this is all fun. Hope we can keep doing it. I want to also say that kind of connecting video games to wrestling, that Uke sucks. And I will not be buying a WWE game until Ukes is no longer the developer
of Fire Pro Wrestling. You tried that?
I haven't tried that.
New one. I said it's coming to PS4, but right now it's only on Steam. But yeah, those Fire Pros are pretty good. Good one.
Yeah.
Get that 2K18 on Switch. You're gonna miss out.
Oh, that's a whole other show. That's a whole. Maybe next week and we'll go more in depth because maybe next week they'll actually release some gameplay for any platform on that fucking game. This is bullshit. They're like, oh yeah, they do all these weird vignettes with guys walking around smashing shit and stuff, and like this ain't in the game unless that's game footage, which would be amazing, but we know it's not. So then I don't give a shit. I don't care. Show me freaking gameplay. I have a feeling it's really bad, or it's just more of the same, and it's just like a legacy carryover, with just an updated roster. Because the fact that they have not shown anything and they didn't show anything at E3 draws concern. So I'm like, something's wrong here.
Yeah, get ready for a simple roster update. Get ready for some features to be removed while others are added.
Yeah. They do.
Get ready for some character gimmicks and entrances to be outdated as usual. It seems like they stopped giving a shit once WrestleMania's done. And
they said they stopped. They did bring that up because they were like, yeah, we stopped, but they said, don't worry, people get it because they get it as DLC. Oh, thanks. We love paying more for shit. Thank you.
Exactly.
That's great. I love it. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for looking out for me.
DLC. Yeah. There you go.
What a great deal that is.
So the Hardy Boys, are the Hardy Boys going to be in the game, or they're not going to be in there? You said
they'll be in there because they still have their character models from way back. But
that's
simple. That's you just said that's. I mean, all their moves and everything is in the Creator Wrestler Zone. You know, so it's all there. So they're like, yo, you got that? Have they changed much? They put a little weight, whatever. That's fine. And then put the streak in and Matt's hair, and we're done. They're in.
Oh, and also really quick, Ronda Rousey is closing her deal. She will be available WrestleMania 34.
There you go. See?
There you go.
So there you
Yeah,
go.
congrats.
Now that would be a match for Oscar.
New Orleans. Let's all go. Let's get there.
Let's do it. Wrestling.
Wrestling and drinking and wrestling and more drinking
and throwing shit at the wrestlers, getting ejected. What the fuck?
Agreed. Awesome.
All right.
Well, thank you all for listening, and thanks for the continued support. We'll talk to you all next week.
Peace.